introduced by a mutual friend who, Roger had broken up with his girlfriend, I had broken up with my boyfriend. Chet was friends with both of us, and we both said to him, fix us up with somebody, and he fixed us up finally. And
thinking would never work.
Well, we were both in college, and I took a math class, and that's where I met him. He was in the same math class with me, and I needed some extra help, and he was willing to tutor.
I was in the Air Force in North Carolina. And Mary was a telephone operator. And she and 3 other girls had just been to a union meeting. And they went to a little sandwich shop for coffee afterwards. And my friend and I, my buddy and I, were just cruising around town. And we were sitting at the lunch counter. And Mary was sitting in a booth.
it would be, think about it.
You know how young swains do it, they kind of get
Flirt.
attention.
Flirting with us.
And so they went out to the car, they had a car and my buddy had a car, and we followed them to the drive-in and had a milkshake or something, and Coke, and then we got their phone numbers. And I told my friend that night, I told him I'm going to marry that.
We actually met on a college program. We were traveling cross country. It was called Know America, KNOW, where we got to look at strip mining and all sorts of geology and geographical and geography things. So my friend and I, before this educational trip that we went on, went out for a quick pizza. We figured it was our last good meal before the trip. And my wife, my future wife, was there with her mother at the same pizza place. And they looked over and they saw these 2 scruffy guys with long hair, and we had just moved his apartment, so we were caked in sweat, and said to her mother, I hope those guys are not on this educational trip. And her mother, like any good mother, says, there are hundreds of college students around. I'm sure it's not going to be those 2 college students. And lo and behold, it became us.
We met in college. I was a freshman and you were a junior. Mm-hmm. And I think we first saw each other in a registration line for a class, only that was, not when like sparks flew. And then I had gone on a date with one of his roommates, and that's when we all started talking, and I realized I'm with the wrong guy.
He was on a date with my roommate. So it was just a straight steal. I came into the room and Beth was playing my guitar.
Because his roommate had said, oh sure, you like to play guitar, you can try his guitar, no problem, he won't mind.
Right, so she was playing my guitar and singing, and I was hooked right then. I said, no, she's going to go out with me.
That was not an easy thing to figure out. I was very young, and I think I was in a generation where it was sort of expected that, you went to college, and if you met someone, you get married, and it sort of flowed naturally from that. I don't think I wasn't smart enough to figure out what I was really looking for in someone, and I guess I was just lucky.
I was just so in love, I didn't know what was happening.
And I used to say, I'll never marry a guy with red hair. He had red hair.
I want to hear this part. I've never heard this part of the story. So go ahead.
I don't know, it was just, I just felt very, very strong attraction to him, and I knew I wanted to spend a lot of time with him. There was a lot of chemistry right from the start. He's a musician. They're inherently pretty sexy.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. It was love at first sight. And there was no question. She could sort of play the guitar.
No, I
Sort
couldn't,
of.
not really, not really.
But she could really sing. I said, okay, this is terrific. This is great.
When we were in Hawaii for our 25th, there was a young couple there, and they said to us, how you stayed married for 25 years. And she says, one day at a time, and some days are longer than others. She's the only person in this whole world that ever could put up with me, including my mother.
I think it's very important that you like each other and that you're friends and that you have common interests and that you respect each other. I think that you can, I'm not saying that you need to always agree. That's no way that that would ever happen. But I think that you have to respect each other's opinion and have your disagreements in a respectful manner.
You always heard the expression 100 and 100%. It's not 50-50. Sometimes you just have to swallow hard and go through whatever disagreements you might have. Consider the feelings of the other person.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things is luck. I mean, let's be honest. Luck is a big part of it. But you have to work at it, and work at it means that you've got to be thoughtful about the other person. And if you're thoughtful about the other person, what it feels to them, what they're hearing, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, that helps. And it also, the community around you helps a lot, whether it's parents supporting you or friends supporting you. Because when you have children, it's a challenge. When you're working, it's a challenge, and you need a community to support you. So that's an important piece of any relationship.
Love really helps. You know, that's where it began. It began with a lot of that intense passion that you learn to sort of bank over time so you don't burn to a crisp. Love. Being able to listen. Being able to talk. Kindness. You can't get by for 4 decades without learning to be kind.